Hey guys, what's going on? This is our week 3 update for the house. This will be the fourth video in this little series we're doing. Let me get inside first. So this week is by far going to have the most updates because I took this week off just to work on this house. And I was working side by side with my father, the electrician, an HVAC tech, my friend Emily, who's been helping, like especially with scraping the ceilings, which we'll go over shortly. So it's been an absolutely insane week. But before we even get started, if you guys want to follow the progress, the best way to follow is just to subscribe and then hit the little bell icon that's like right there. So it's right below. Hit the bell icon, follow me. Anyways, moving on. So first thing you notice here is this floor. So I probably screwed about 300 to 400 screws in this floor, and it no longer squeaks. Listen to that. Some very minimal squeaking, but that's really about it. And that took me a really, really long time to do. I mean, this floor is quite large, as you can tell. And if you can imagine, let me see if I can find some of the screws that I did. Yeah, so here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, and then of course there's another row over there, and there's another row right there you can see. So, I mean, it took a very long time to screw this whole thing down, but it was well worth it. So now there's no squeaks, and it's almost ready. The only thing we have to do with the flooring in here is my dad, I believe, is going to actually rip up this row of asbestos tile, and that's it. We're gonna leave the rest of it. We wanna minimize our exposure, of course, and we're gonna wet this down before we remove anything, so that way it contains any sort of like dust if it goes and shoots up. And we'll probably have like a vacuum and a fan going and all that kind of good stuff. So the ceiling, we finally won. Look at it, it's glorious. Look at over there. The hallway is done. Oh my gosh, what a relief. But the only other problem we have, you can see right here, right there, look at that. So what you're looking at is drywall right there. Let me see if I can get closer. So drywall, and then this right here, plaster. So originally when they were putting this in, they did the drywall and then they did multiple layers of plaster. And the electrician was cutting into this, and as you can see, it just came out in a big chunk, so that's not gonna fly. So the plan over here is we're going to put a focal point up over this, so you'll see that in hopefully a later video. But that's gonna cover up this, and hopefully what we're gonna do is put a piece of plywood above this in the attic, and then when we screw through, it's actually gonna sandwich this together. And so that's gonna result in hopefully getting rid of the cracks, hiding that ugly hole in the ceiling, and hopefully we're not gonna have any problems, because the way that this hallway is graded, if we were to actually take this whole ceiling down, right here at this little divide that goes into the hallway, it's actually up. So if we were to take this all down, we would have to like re-level the whole thing, probably with more drywall or more compound. It would just be really obnoxious, so we're not gonna get into it. Kitchen, so the flooring, oh my God, is done. I just vacuumed over here. You can tell the difference. I mean, look at that. That is the layer of dust that was over every single thing in this room. And it's likely what's over pretty much everything else in this whole house right now, just because we've been doing so much sanding and so much drywall prep. But what you're looking at here is my creation. So this is the countertop, and it's coming pretty good. So all this is Bondo, and I actually have a layer of transition primer over top of it right now. It's totally dry. So you can see that it kind of goes up and there's a few little divots and marks here. That's fine. So my plan, we're gonna pour epoxy over this now as soon as I put some more paint over top of it. The epoxy's got to cure for about 72 hours. And I did it over this as well. And over this one over here. The epoxy cures for about 72 hours, and then you have a countertop that's heat resistant, food safe, all that good stuff. The only problem is that I think I need to get a UV protector to go over top of the epoxy. And that is so it prevents yellowing in the future. Not that I'm probably going to be living here for 10, 15, 20 years. But in that time, whoever's living here at that point would probably prefer to not have a yellowed countertop. So the only bit of sanding left in here is this right here. And let me tell you this, this has been a nightmare. I have tried multiple different ways to get in here, and you can see, I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, I got pretty dang close, and it's not like somebody's gonna kneel down here and look at this like we're doing right now. But I mean, it's for my own peace of mind. So I've been tediously sanding that, and I haven't even worked on any of the drawers yet, which you'll see. The electrician found, I want to show you guys this. I mean, look at this over here. Wow, talk about dangerous looking, right? So whoever was in here before, they spliced this wire together, and man, it looked nasty. It looked super dangerous. So the electrician hopefully has made it safe. We're good to go on that front. My electrician, by the way, his name is Rob. He is fantastic. If you need a recommendation, or you need an electrician rather, I can give you a recommendation. If you know me, ask me. If you want to know, put it down in the comments. He's in upstate New York. In here, we're working on the ceiling. This is the first day that we're working on the ceiling in here. We're about a quarter way done. This one is coming up really easy. And that is because this is new construction. So that new construction ceiling is coming off super, super easy. So we're gonna be painting the ceiling back a white color, most likely, after we kind of put a little coat of drywall mud over top of all this. Now, there are all the cabinets, and over here are more of them. You know, I am not looking forward to this. This is the thing that I've been looking forward to least of pretty much this entire project. I think I could, after working on the Lazy Susan over there, I have a pretty good grasp of what to do. But man, it's gonna be such a pain in the butt to actually get in there and actually sand everything down appropriately, because when I spray it, I wanna make sure that the paint is going to adhere, and this crummy stain or whatever this was they put over it is just coming right off. I can't leave it on there. So here's the cutout for this sink, which I should have shown you first. So my friend Oliver Shukneck at Lee Shukneck and Sons, he is currently working on fixing some dings in the sink and also doing a single weld in the sink to make it sturdy so we can put it back in here. Now our plan is to make a support for this, because this is, as you can tell, if you look at this here, oh yeah, that's not going to support a sink. So we're going to put a support across, let me see if you can see this, yep, right here, right across the back. We're also going to put something probably across that way, back to the wall, and we're going to support it on the floor. And we talked to the HVAC guy who was in here just briefly about the water hookups and all that as well, and he thought it was likely the way we were describing the way we're going to support the sink. He recommended that we go exactly that route and support it from underneath as well as across the sides, because it's a very heavy open face sink. So that's that. Then this room over here, this room is actually almost done. There's only a few little pieces left. So we have to cover this up over here. This used to be that little shelving unit that you guys saw originally. I have to clean all this brick. I was testing out, look at the difference. This brick here, right in this little circle, you guys see that? Versus all of that up there. That only took about 4 to 5 minutes to do this whole section. And what I used to clean it was this Scrubbing Bubbles bathroom grime fighter, and it just takes it right off. And it's the active ingredient ammonia, I learned, that actually removes it from brick. If you are looking to remove something from brick, I would highly recommend you use something with ammonia in it, because otherwise I have tried, I tried other materials to get this off and it just wasn't working. And then this closet is the only other factor really. We still haven't done anything in here. Likely we are just going to sand this down, add some more insulation, and then kind of skim it with drywall compound. And then that'll hopefully be done. We're going to update the lighting and all that good stuff, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Now, haven't even touched the bathroom. Barely touched the laundry room, but these rooms we've got leaps and bounds in. We got out all of that drywall compound that was in here, and we're going to put leveling compound back in. There's one confounding factor over here. So, oh, look at that. Yep, that leads right into the, right into basically the cement that's down there. So I don't know what we're gonna do about that. Probably just patch over it, to be honest with you. We took off all the moldings in here. The ceiling is done in here as well. We just need to actually skim it with drywall compound. And then as you can tell, it's still squeaky in here. This is my little mark. The studs are moving this way. Or the joists, I'm sorry. The joists are moving this way. And so I found where I'm gonna drive. And what I've been doing to drive into the asbestos tile is this. So you take a little bit of Barbasol and you put it down, just like that. And then you take a screw and drive through the Barbasol because it prevents any dust from shooting up at you. And so long as you have enough down there, like that dollop, this is really sufficient. That will give you protection from that. I still wear an N95. I still typically like open the windows and all that good stuff. You know, I have a fan running, but I'm hoping that that's gonna be enough because, man, these floors are so squeaky and I really don't wanna have to go back to them ever again. I wanna do this right the first time, secure what I can, only remove what is absolutely necessary, and then move on. So kind of similar circumstance in this room. Have not secured anything in here yet, but all of the molding, all the trim is gone. Vents are gone. So we are gonna reinstall, as you can see, my electrician has been hard at work in here too. We're gonna reinstall lighting in here, but it's gotta be LED because this old stuff right here, yep, that, yeah, you need 18 inches of clearance from here to here because they worry that if these old lights, they get hot if there's stuff pressed up against them. So if you leave those in there and don't have 18 inches of clearance, what ends up happening is if in the event somebody were to pile a bunch of stuff up in there, you could have a fire and they don't want that. So we're gonna fix that. This is the washer. I believe I showed you guys in the last video. And again, not a whole lot has been done in here. We are gonna tear all that down. And man, this is like, I didn't realize how bad it was. Look at that fan. Wow, like there was no vent in here. So as you can see over here, they were planning on venting this, the dryer, right to the outside. They're gonna drill like a 3-inch hole probably out here. I don't know why they never did it. I mean, there's a hole right there, but I don't think that's big enough for what they wanted to accomplish. So we are gonna do our due diligence and put a hole through this right to the outside so we can vent the dryer properly. So plan still stands in here. And then I'm not even gonna bother showing you guys this. There's literally nothing that has happened in here yet. It's a little discouraging, but we'll get there. And then the last thing that I'd like to show you guys is actually down in the basement. So I've been moving a lot of stuff over here. I did remove all the carpet strips here, which has been helpful in getting down. But I've been moving my stuff here, as you can see. And over here, there's a little bit of ant damage and a little bit of water damage down here. Now, structurally, so far, we have not uncovered anything. We are gonna rip this floor up eventually, but I think this is really a project for another day. The reason we ripped this down was to get access up there, which is hard to see in this light, I'm sorry, was to get up there because there's piping up there, there's electrical work up there, and we needed to get to that if we're going to work on the upstairs sink in the upstairs kitchen. So that's why that's all down. Oh, by the way, it's dead. If you want it, contact me. We'll figure out a way for you to get here and take it. My gosh. I can't believe it. When he hooked up the gauges to this thing, it was literally at 0. There's no refrigerant left at all. And it doesn't work. Can you believe it? So, man, yeah, that's got to go. It's either going to go to somebody who really wants it, or the next option is essentially we're just going to scrap it, along with probably this as well. The last thing I want to show you was with this. So there's the furnace. I just actually taped that off because there was a huge hole in that furnace and it was just dumping heat. So I took some of that metal tape, covered up the bottom, and then I kind of adhered it to the underside, almost in like a sweeping fashion. And now it's actually closed off. So now there's no loss, hopefully, from there. My HVAC man basically told me that I was probably losing 25 to 30% of efficiency just from that opening. Now here's another very special thing. I want you guys to look very closely. This right here, this leads to the hot water tank. Oh, what's that right there? It's a giant hole. Yep. So this water tank has to be replaced anyway. What we're gonna do is go the high efficiency water tank, remove this one entirely, remove this ductwork up here. And in removing the ductwork, we'll cap it off. And man, I can't believe that, I mean, A, the inspector missed this, but the other piece to this is that this has been probably like this for a very long time. And I wonder, why nobody's ever, investigated, because it's barely connected over there. There's a hole right over here. Like, this thing was basically ready to go for a while. So gonna replace this, put a high efficiency drill hole to the outside, and boom, take care of it. But on the bright side, everything is coming along. There's more spots in the breaker. The electrician is making progress. The HVAC guy has got his times down, so he's going to come back and take care of some things for me, like the hot water tank and a few other little odds and ends here and there, which is the venting in the kitchen. So honestly, everything is going well. I know in the last video I kind of talked briefly about maybe feeling a little overwhelmed at this whole process. And I still sort of feel that way. There's just so much going on with this whole remodel and so many moving parts, but it's going so well still. And it's hard to say otherwise. I mean, when you look at the amount of progress that's happened in this house just in the last 3 weeks, and this is only 4 people doing this renovation, 2 of which are here more often than the other 2. So, I mean, the fact that I was able to get all of this done in such a short amount of time is just crazy to me. But again, if you guys want to follow along, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to go ahead and hit the notification bell and like the video, because that always helps too. But anyways, guys, I'll see you next week, next Saturday. As always, I upload right in the evening, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. If you sticked around, give me a comment saying that you got to the end. All right, bye.